Hello, and welcome to ZED Talks, featuring my good friend Nick the King Cooper
Greetings.
and me, Colton Blue Basket Sweat. Aiden's not going to be joining us this month because he is a very, very busy boy. But have we got a show for you? We're pulling some strings from the JoJo verse over into the League of Legends world, and we're going to be converting some of our favorite characters into League of Legends champions. So that's kind of the setup for this month. Nick, I believe you think that we have the same characters.
I just have a sneaking suspicion that we do, because I know how what I thought about is I picked characters that I think have a lot of potential and variety in what they can do. I feel like this actually proved to be really, really challenging for me.
Yeah, I was going through because I had done very little prep work, so I was on the wiki going through all of the stands and being like, nah, this isn't gonna work. This would only have one ability. This character kind of already. I was like, and I was actually really, really mad that when I teased it, I used Silver Chariot, because that one I think would have been great. Right, you could make a really
you still
fun
should have just done it.
Yeah.
Yeah, they did Fiora.
Yeah, right. Fiora would be a really good, but you could make another nimble duelist without it being
for
Fiora.
Sure. For sure.
So let's start off, Nick. What characters stands did you go with?
So I went with Risotto from Part 5 in his stand Metallica.
Okay.
As well as Bucciarati and his stand Zipperman, Sticky Fingers, kind of whatever you want to call it.
Yeah. Okay, so we do not have overlapping.
Interesting. Okay, great.
I went with the only Chef Tonio.
Ooh.
And his stand Pearl Jam.
Very, very powerful. Okay.
And in a little bit of a shift on the format, I was feeling iffy about some of the other stands, so I went with Wamu from Battle Tendency.
Yeah.
And I made him into a champion because I was like, he's pretty cool, and I could actually think of things because he's got distinct moves.
He's got more than one thing.
Yeah, or that it's not just things that are kills the user instantly.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
that was the other hard part.
My backup, I really wanted to do King Crimson or Another One Bites the Dust.
Yeah,
which I think both would be very good.
Is
that the stand? Is that the stand name, or is that just the little heat-seeking one?
I'm not sure which is
Killer
which.
Queen. Killer Queen is the okay.
Mm-hmm. I was also thinking the reverb Act 1, 2, and 3.
Yeah, that one would have been such a fun support, I feel like.
Yeah, I was trying to go through it, but its only ability is make sound, and then the thing where it you can write on a surface a sound, and then it'll manifest if you touch it. Really cool in an anime and a manga. But how do you put that in a video game?
Yeah, I kind of felt the same way about Heaven's Door, trying to figure out, okay, obviously that's really cool. Does it turn into a quick type event?
Yeah.
You type racer or whatever.
You got to start training on Mavis Beacon to get better at League.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, so let's jump in. Do you want to start or should I?
Sure, I'll go first. All right, so the first one is Risotto, Metallica. He's a ranged assassin. Passively, his attacks will implant metal shards in his opponent. Each shard adds a stacking slow, and after 5 stacks, which is the cap, it roots them. It doesn't have a cooldown per champion, but it does have a diminishing effect on consecutive roots, sort of like Kennen in his stun. So you can apply it a bunch of times pretty quickly, but each one is going to be less duration than the last. His Q, just a real simple. He throws metal in a cone and it goes back to him. If you're hit by both parts, you get 2 stacks. His W, he becomes briefly invisible, and this is canceled upon movement or displacement. After a short time, he can reactivate this to teleport anywhere in an area around him. And then his E, he recalls all active shards, dealing massive damage and gaining temporary lethality based on the number of metal shards recalled. And his ultimate, of course, he unleashes a wave of magnetic energy, implanting the maximum number of shards within any champion hit by this ability. This ability resets if he kills not a champion, and that does not include a takedown. It has to be a kill.
Okay.
So it was really hard to figure out like other abilities, because I had the idea of like, okay, I really want him to like have these shards that he puts in champions, and then he can rip them out, do a bunch of damage.
Mm-hmm.
But like anything beyond that, it was so fucking challenging.
Yeah. And it's like tough because like you want to make it right, like in the JoJo verse, like that's a big thing, is right, like it's got to be like very specific circumstances, and like that's how a lot of stands get so much of their power, where it's like, you know, Risotto would be just bonkers OP against Mordekaiser, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Because he's just like a suit of fucking armor. But you can't really do that in Lee. I like that. It sounds to me very similar to Talon.
It's sort of like a combination of Talon, Zaya, and Callista, I think.
Yeah, but
like,
I liked it.
Speaking of, I don't think this was ever brought up in at least the anime. I haven't read the manga, but apparently if his stand comes into contact with any other stand that has any portion of metal, he can just control the stand like permanently.
Oh.
Yeah.
Damn.
So if he like came into contact with Low Bomber, like that's it. Like
it's done
he
for.
just doesn't have a stand anymore. Yeah.
he gets shot by Sex Pistols. Nope.
Yeah.
Your bullets are mine now.
Honestly, like that is probably my favorite part of part 5 is that particular fight between him and the boss, which is very, very cool.
Yeah.
And was my inspiration, obviously, for this.
Okay, so again, so the Q was like a cone, shootout, drag back.
Yep.
W, again, you said it stealths it, and then if he takes damage or is
so
CC'd,
he has to be completely still. I wanted to use this as like he has been lying in wait and is able to like position around that. So you got to be still. It's sort of like Teemo, except you can't move. Yeah, I guess like Teemo out of a bush is the best way to compare it.
I really like that.
If you reactivate it, you can like teleport. Any like I would say not a huge distance, but a pretty moderately sized distance anywhere around you.
Yeah, I really like Teemo passive, and then once you're invisible, you can activate the ability again to do your teleport. That's sick.
Yeah,
as an assassin ability, that's so cool.
Yeah, I really like that.
All right. So I guess I'll go into my first one. So you have an assassin. I'm wondering if we're gonna get ourselves a solid team comp.
Ooh, okay.
I'm gonna start with Wamu. So I'm thinking of him as like a bruiser top lane beefy boy, because I feel like kind of all the pillar men are.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
So his passive is like all of his attacks and abilities are going to apply a stack of like whatever, it's like a debuff on you.
Yeah.
And then the next attack or ability that hits you, if it's an auto attack, it'll do like a little bit more damage and refresh the buff. If it's an ability, or sorry, no. If it's an attack, it'll just do more bonus damage. If it's an ability, they've got like special effects when they consume a stack. So you really have to like time when you're using something to apply a stack versus proc a stack, right? So like auto Q versus Q auto is very different. And I think that like I think a lot of the thing with Wamu is like being very strategic. So I felt like that was an interesting way to like give him
sort
a lot of depth.
Like a flow in the battle, like in what his movements are.
Yeah. So his Q is his signature move, the Divine Sandstorm, where he spins his arms really, really, really fast and makes a little shredding cone. So it's like an AoE cone of damage that does, that he channels for a small period of time. If they're, if they have the debuff on them from his passive, it'll also, the slow is going to be bigger, and it's going to do like percentage current health as well as the base damage.
Okay.
His W is his big ultimate move, his atmospheric whatever horn move
I
thing.
can't remember.
But it's not as big in this kit. It's gonna be like a line skill shot, and again, if it's gonna be like a slow, and then if they are affected by the debuff, it'll stun them. His E is his windsuit, where he like wraps his body in the steam, and so he becomes stealthed for a small period of time, during which he gets damage reduction, and then afterwards he loses when it runs out. He'll become vulnerable, but if he triggers one of his abilities using like the passive, it'll cleanse that vulnerability.
Okay.
So like if you like just run away with it,
it's gonna be pretty weak, but
but if you're using it to fight. Oh, the other thing about his passive I forgot to mention is that like every time he procs it, he's going to get like a stacking movement speed and ability haste buff, which again is like flowing in and out, and it's got to be, I guess, kind of like unique, like Samira, where it's like auto won't crazy build stacks. You've got to kind of mix in and out. And then his ultimate is the Ring of Death. I don't know if you remember it. I didn't until I was reading up for this. But when he first fights JoJo, he kicks his ass, and then JoJo's like, yeah, but that's just because I haven't trained yet, and as an honorable warrior, you should give me a month to train before we fight again. So he plants this like ring in his heart that's gonna kill him in 30 days if he doesn't come back to fight.
The antidote is in his lip ring, right?
Yeah. So it's kind of like a Mordekaiser ult where he like challenges you to a duel. But I'm gonna have it not like bring you to a Shadow Realm. You're still on the Rift. So you like place this area down where you both have to fight in, and if either person leaves it, like you can leave, but you're gonna take like a crazy amount of damage if you do. The number I was like spitballing was like 75% of your current health.
Holy shit!
Right, it's like you're fighting, and like you can choose to lose, but if you're not gonna be honorable against Wamu, he's gonna fuck you up.
Yeah.
But that's if either person leaves. So like if Wamu leaves, he's gonna take that damage, or if like you're against somebody who knocks you out of it, like you have to really plan it. But while he's in that area, he gets like some bonus stats. Did
you mention approximately like how big the area would be?
You're
not thinking like a Trundle W?
I'd say maybe like in between Trundle W and Camille ult sized.
Okay.
So like reasonably large. And then the winner of the duel is going to be healed for a portion of the damage dealt to either target. So like as this fight is going on, all the damage is just like going into a pool, and then the winner just gets healed for a bunch. So it's a really high risk, high reward ability where it's like if you fuck it up, not only are you dead, but their Fiora just gets like 1,000 health back.
That's sick.
And I also love the idea of like, because they're not in another dimension, like if the AD carry shows up and does like an extra 1,000 damage in here, like somebody's gonna get that to heal.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Not that really fits what he did in the show, but
yeah, we gotta make stuff work.
We gotta make it wild. So that's Wamu.
Nice. That's sick. I like that a lot. It feels like he's definitely like a tactical duelist. Would you say he's like primarily auto attack based?
I guess it'd be like really similar to Silas.
Okay.
In Red,
I'm
where
thinking
it's
like what would his item path be?
Probably like Sunderer tank.
Okay.
Like I'm thinking of him very similar to like Silas, where it's like you have to be weaving in these autos a lot to be doing your maximum damage.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm thinking probably like he'd be a Trinity Force or Sunderer user, because like his Q would be a pretty low cooldown. His E would be longer.
Yeah, it seems like a 30-second ish, like probably around there.
Yeah, and then like scaling down.
It seems very, very impactful.
Yeah. So that's Wamu, the
Hell
Pillar
yeah.
Man. And then if he's against Leona, he just dies because sunlight kills him.
I forgot about that. Yeah, is he No, he's a pillar man. He's not a vampire, right? But he's still affected like he is.
Yeah, I think
It's unclear.
vampires like are derivative of Pillarmen.
Okay.
But yeah, the Pillarmen are affected by sunlight. He though does his little windsuit that he wraps around himself lets him refract sunlight for like 10 seconds, but then he has to go hide because he's all tired.
So he could fight Leona for 10 seconds.
Yeah, he can fight Leona for 10 seconds.
All right, so she's at 80% HP.
Nice.
Awesome. I guess we'll move on to my next one, Bucciarati. Obviously, like one of the most like I would say creative and versatile stands that's probably ever existed. Super super cool. So a lot to work with. Of course, he's a melee jungler. I guess he wouldn't have to be a melee. He's a melee like auto attack based, champ, like a Viego sort of. Kind of squishy, but
we'll like high damage potential if executed right.
Yeah. All right. His passive, of course, his auto attacks apply zippers to his targets. Each champion can have a maximum of 3 at one time, and zippers will actually remain on champions until they're removed. Like they will last indefinitely. So his Q, he gains a large amount of attack speed, and his damage is reduced. On-hit effects are applied with reduced efficiency as well, and these attacks themselves cannot apply zippers. If he successfully lands 5 attacks on a champion with zippers, he can reactivate the ability to prevent his target from casting between 1 and 3 zippers, he'll prevent his target from casting 1 to 3 abilities, scaling with the number of zippers applied for a short time, and removing all zippers currently active. His W, he targets a wall, then another nearby, creating a zipper path between the two that lasts for 1 minute. He can use them instantly and for an infinite number of times, while each ally champion may only use it once per cast and must channel briefly before doing so. His E, he dashes.
Is it one way or 2 ways?
It is one. So it's one way for everyone except for him. So
okay, so he could go like back and forth on the same wall a million times.
Yeah, for a minute.
Fuck you, Nick.
Well, okay, so we watch him in the show, right? And that's what he's doing. I specifically remembering the train fight, right, where he's just like existing in the walls the entire time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So that was my sort of inspiration for that ability. Plus, I think it would be super sick.
It would be so tilting, though.
Oh,
like
absolutely.
He's on the back of Baron Pit and he's in, out, in, out.
Absolutely, in, out. Yeah. But I mean, that's sort of like he's a squishy carry. So, with 1 CC, he'd be, locked down and
yeah,
killed.
I mean, LeBlanc exists, Talon exists. We can put that ability in the game.
Yeah. His E, pretty simple. He dashes to a target, dealing damage and placing a zipper on it. If it's an enemy champion, he can reactivate the ability to stun all enemies with zippers, stunning them based on the number of zippers applied and removing all zippers active. And his ultimate, he can cast it on allies or enemies, with enemies requiring 3 zippers to cast. He uses his zippers to attach to the target champion, becoming untargetable. If his target's an ally, he will empower them, granting them attack damage, move speed, armor, and magic resist for a short time. If it's an enemy, he will impair them, removing some of the attack damage, move speed, armor, and magic resist, as well as dealing a large burst of damage upon exiting his host. While he's attached, he cannot move or cast other abilities. He cannot be removed by any means, including teleporting, recalling, /fountain laser, etc. So the big iconic, he's he's chilling.
He's chill. Can you QSS it? You have to be able to QSS
He cannot be removed by any means.
Oh, okay.
It is Bucciarati's choice.
Sure. Okay. Fair enough. I'm sure people will love that.
Well, because remember, it's not. I guess like specifically with QSS, it only removes CC now and not like harmful debuffs.
Mm-hmm.
Like you couldn't. You used to be able to remove Zed, Fiora, Ult, things like that, and it would just completely like gut these characters. So they removed them, remove that functionality. So yeah, that's. I don't know. I thought it was like a pretty cool way to do that.
Mm-hmm. And again, you said the Q, he gets like a bunch of attack speed, but those attacks don't apply zippers.
Yeah.
But his regular attacks do, right?
Yeah, his regular attacks do. So this is like I have a bunch of like on hit effects, I assume is how he would be built. Trying to proc them like pretty quickly.
Gotcha.
Also, okay. I thought it would be too easy to like proc some of the other things if he had so much attack speed and then just could, chill with it.
And so the zippers stay on permanently until
so which is why I think he would be a jungler, is if I run top lane, I'll put 3 zippers on the top laner and then I'm running to a different lane and I will I guess his abilities don't impact more than one character. But yeah, you can come back at another time and lead with
with your stun.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, the only thing that it would be so fucked if like in a like, game when you die the zippers go away, right? When you die.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Cuz I was going to say like imagine like after a big fight and he just like didn't ever take the zippers off, and then the next fight he just like flash E stuns all 5 members because they all have
that
zippers.
Would be so fucked.
It'd be so dumb. All right, I'm a fan as always a fan.
Of course, everyone we have to be fans of Bucciarati, of course.
Yeah, we're all fans. We're all stans. But there is one character I think that holds an even higher place in my heart.
Oh, let's do it.
let's
one of my favorite parts of part
Chef
4.
Tonio. Chef Tony. So I'm imagining Chef Tony as somewhat of like an enchanter support.
Okay.
So we did end up with 4 different archetypes. We're just missing Lady Carry.
Yeah.
So we'll charge Aiden with making a whole horse and AD carry with his stand gun.
I thought about whole horse and boy, it would be fucking hard.
I was thinking like you could do 6 pistols and have it be like an AD carry where like they cast like bouncing skill shots, or like you hit like Q 3 times and it'll like bounce to like that many times and you have to like reload or something.
Yeah.
But I didn't really want to get into that, and I feel like it would be such a pain as an AD carry. Like, all right, I need to mash Q 3 times to get the double bounce.
Yeah.
But anyway, Tonio. So his passive is like he's a forager. He's harvesting good ingredients, which he can get from like large monster kills, epic monster kills, champions that die near him. They'll basically like drop like a soul, kind of like Senna, where he can pick up the ingredients. Which then, depending on the number of ingredients he has, will make his abilities scale up throughout the game. So his Q is going to be like a lined skill shot, which if it hits an ally, it will heal them. If it hits an enemy, it's going to do like a very, very small amount of damage. It's like it would be like heal for 100, but only damage for like 25.
Okay, yeah.
It's meant to be used as a heal. His W is going to be an ability that he kind of like casts in an area, kind of like maybe like Zig's W size. And if it hits an enemy, it'll stun them for a duration. But after the duration of the stun, it's going to heal them for a good portion of the damage they took while stunned. So it's like you CC them, but you can't actually combo on them because they're going to heal for that damage.
Okay.
And then for an ally, I think it'll probably just be like a small shield.
Okay.
His E is going to just be like a targeted cleanse for an ally, because Tonio, he will cure you of all of your ailments.
That's true, yeah.
And his ultimate, I need some help with this, Nick, because I have no idea what would be like his big ultimate move.
Oh man, that's tough.
Other than just like having a form that lets him do everything faster.
I'm thinking.
He makes a giant cheeseburger.
I almost want to say like, I like the idea that you had of like his W having a benefit but also a drawback. Where so maybe like in the spirit of Chef Tony, where his he just wants to help everybody.
Yeah.
Maybe like he channels in an area and like it's just complete debuff immunity. Like maybe damage reduction for your team. Damage reduction for your team, damage amp for the enemy team, but complete debuff immunity for everyone inside.
Okay, yeah, no, I like that. All right, so here's the play, okay? He invites everybody over to his restaurant, and the restaurant just drops in on the rift. And while you're in Chef Tony's restaurant, everyone's immune to CC. Your team gets like a small amount of damage reduction and maybe like increased healing, and the enemy team maybe I feel like to make it at least a little fair, that's probably like the enemy team just gets to be immune to CC in the restaurant. But your team gets bonus healing and a little bit of damage reduction.
Okay.
Hell yeah.
I like that.
We called it grand opening. And he just fucking drops a restaurant on your head.
That's
perfect.
Sick.
Best champion in the game.
No one can leave until everything is satisfied. Like
until everyone is satisfied and all the plates are clean, completely eaten. I don't care if you don't like spicy food, Cled. You're eating it.
Nice. I like
Hell
that.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
All right, so I don't think Aiden actually will give us a whole horse champion, but
he's too cowardice.
Yeah, he's too cowardly. Maybe we'll get him to do it. If not, this will be the end of our ZED Talks for April. If you're listening to this in April of 22, congratulations, you're a patron. If you're on YouTube a month later, that means you could have gotten it sooner for $1, and you're a cringer. But anyway, thank you so much for joining us and enjoying our content as we enjoy you being our listeners. Nick, do you have any parting words?
Yeah, thanks for hosting. Next month's a little bit up in the air. I have a really, really good idea. However, it is a very time-consuming process, so we might have someone else host next month, and then I'll do the month after. Or if I figure everything out, it'll be next month, and it's going to be a lot of fun. Might be a Jeopardy show with some guest hosts. So we'll see how that how that goes. We'll put Aiden in the hot seat and make him compete for our viewership.
Hell yeah. All right, well, that will do it for this episode of ZED Talks. So bye.
Bye.